folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you? All right. Who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really?
They just ditched it.
Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car and the other one.
It's truly for the win.
That I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay? They all knew about it. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Transparency Date Night with me.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
All right, guys, what is up? Welcome to the Transparency. What is it tonight? Friday night. We like this 10 o'clock spot. The East Coast people get to close out their date night with me, and the West Coast people get to pregame with me. So, again, want to say thank you to my moderators, all the members, subscribers. You guys rock, and appreciate you guys being here, sharing stuff, and then also engaging. And if you're going to use the live chat feature, all that I ask is that you do it responsibly and respectfully. So, well, Idaho4, a lot of you guys started following me because of the Idaho4 case. Happened to be in Moscow, Idaho. Just got back from visiting not just Moscow, but other parts of northern Idaho. I was as close as you could get to Canada without like literally being in Canada. So, where should I begin? Well, let's begin with Ann Taylor is not playing fickle, nor is Brian Kohlberger playing fickle with saying they want stuff sealed, they want stuff unsealed, stuff like that. Nope. There's things that they don't need to have be sealed based on the rules. So that's why they were asking for stuff to be unsealed. The thing that I really think is, you know, what I was wishing and hoping for was that Ann Taylor would still be able to keep those motions coming with the discovery that she wanted, because all I need is a little bit of thing. You know, I just need just a little bit, and I can kind of take it there myself. But so seeing nothing, that just, it is what it is. But Ann Taylor making discovery requests, she's going to continue to do that based upon her finding things, going through a hard drive that is yay big with hella information. And then how about this? If you don't have good researchers going through that, they're just missing the shit that would matter. So is it clearly Ann Taylor is either finding things herself or her research team is finding things and making it known that, hey, we need some stuff because it says it in other reports and that we can find it here and we don't have it, that type of thing. So I think we're on our 12th motion of discovery. I think for me, I put myself as a potential juror and how I would want to look at something. And I'm always innocent until proven guilty. So going out there and kind of just seeing the area and then what information could be, tossed my way. And okay, for me, the state is going to have to explain how Brian Kober has any connection to these victims in some capacity, how he came across them. Even if it's as simple as he would always go to, Mad Greek, which some people think that that's the case, or Xana or any type of connection there, which the defense has clearly said that there is no connection. They went through everything that the prosecution has provided, and there is no connection between Brian and the victims. So then that has a huge question of motive for me. If I was a juror, like if any case that you would take on, like, okay, well, show me the connection, then, lay this timeline out, how you got there, your investigation and how you got there. And when I start hearing like secret this or we can't show that, but as a juror, you're not going to know what could have been. You're not following along right now to the point of, holy shit, guess what wasn't allowed to be admitted into evidence. So somebody like me and somebody like all of you guys who've been following this case since day one, if you were to actually be called and sitting on the jury, you're going to, let's say it could be something as, wait, where are these video cameras, or where's this sheath? Where's this DNA on this sheath? What if, that gets tossed and that's not able to even be in, okay? Based on, the fruit of the poisonous tree or something like that. At the end of the day, as a juror, you go in it thinking, you're supposed to be going there thinking nothing, that this person is innocent until you prove to me that they did this beyond a reasonable doubt. And so I went over to both areas, Pullman, and Bela was with me, Pullman and Moscow. And for me, it's very windy, like in the terms of, I don't know if you guys have ever been to St. Thomas, but like when you're driving and you have to like keep circling to go up type of thing. I noticed that with that area, that everything is like windy. So it's you have the mountains, it's like hilly and stuff like that. It's not flat, but it's also, you could have a house up here, but the street to get to it is right here. And so then the front door of the person's house that you have this Ring camera on, or even any type of surveillance, how does that get triggered to the point that you're able to then see the street? Well, you can't, because the angle is not going to be there. Not on a Ring camera on a door that is way up here in the street level where you're going to be turning into the driveway to go up. It's just impossible. So I looked a lot of that in the area of where, in the probable cause, they take the WSU car that they say is, suspect vehicle 1, and they go from having it on WSU's campus as a 2014 to 2016 model to then plopping it on that Indian trail, drive, hill, whatever the fuck it is over there. And for me, it's like, how do you get that car to that point? But then you have an FBI agent that says, hey, but that's a 2011, 2013. So you just identified this vehicle as being different than the vehicle that you identified on WSU's campus. So you've identified two different vehicles, and that's going to come up in court. Plain as day, that's going to come up in court that your expert identified when he was first shown this video and when he was first shown the video that they used on WSU's campus and then the video that they used on Moscow campus, you identified two different vehicles. You're not going to get around that. Then they're going to have to say, well, we did identify two different vehicles, but at further glance or however they want to go ahead and word it, we then said it could be then we just widened our margin. And that margin went from being at 2011 to 2016. Again, still though, two different vehicles at one point, and now you're just widening this. Then as a juror, I want to know why, and I hope to God Ann Taylor asks this question, why would the police put out asking for help from the public and not changing the year that they were looking for, number one. But more importantly, number two, you have two pictures that are totally different than each other. One has a sunroof and one doesn't. That's a pretty big difference. Is it that you can't see if it has a sunroof or not? So we have to put one that has a sunroof and one that doesn't. That makes sense to me. If you can't tell if it has a sunroof or not because it only has this much of it, so you can't see if it has the sunroof, okay, because you only got this much of the car. That's why you're putting here, we're going to put that it could be one with a sunroof, it could be one without a sunroof. We don't know because we can't see the top of the car because we can only see headlights. And guess what? That's what Linda Lane is. So I was over there on Linda Lane taking a look at, the area, how far it is, and it's not far in terms of where the camera was to where the house was, not still is, but was. And what's in between it? What's in between it? So I think it's logical, though. Let's say that the camera, let's say that the camera at the house that's right or was right next to 1122 King with the light bulb, which I'm going to bring up and show you guys. Okay. Let's see. Let me share this. A couple pictures here. Okay. All right, this doesn't have any video because I don't want it to have video, but this is obviously me up in... This is going up into where Brian Koberger lived. You have to wind around to get up there. So I'm just filming off here to show you that we're continuing to drive and keep looping up and around to get to the back area here where Brian Koberger's apartment was. So this is Steptoe. Steptoe is a big complex, mostly families, grad students, like they said. Everything that they said, I saw a lot of kids' toys underneath the stairs. But you get all the way up here to the top, okay? And then you turn in back here to the right, and then all the way back over here. Oopsies. Hold on one second. Fuck. That was an accident. That was an accident. Get back here. That's how many tabs I have open. Oh shit. So oh no. All right, so we take it all the way back there, and then we go all up in that piece right there. That is a pool party invite from like legit right there. That's a pool party invite. Can't make this shit up, man. This is from August. There's a pool party invite from August of 2023. Nobody's living there. In case you guys are wondering, nobody is living there. So I wanted to go all the way up, and it's windy, and you get to the pot, where he lived. Wow, you can really tell that you are looping upward just by the piece of this video alone. Oh, yeah. And it's all kind of like up and away. And so what I did is I looked around and I said to myself, well, the way that these apartments are, there's no way that Ring cameras can really see anything because of the way that the apartments are situated. So there is going to be no footage of Brian Kohlberger entering this area, I'm telling you, because of the way the apartment's set up. And if I had a Ring camera and I live at 201, it's literally facing the door right across the way. That's it. So that's a pool party, like, invite. All right. And if you go down those stairs, it just leads to a little undercarriage thing. But I look around, look at, there's nothing. Okay, nothing. It's all. So I wanted people to see that. It's just, there's just nothing. It looks like it's just like right off the road and you're like right there. No, there's no cameras. There's no nothing. And so his door, just like every other building that's set up like this, if he was to have a Ring camera, it faces literally, the person right across from you. So it's not going to catch anybody like driving in their car around or when Brian came home or anything like that. Now, I guess it would catch you coming home into your house if you had one. He didn't have one. So. And it takes a little bit of time. This is the other thing. I was paying attention to my time. It takes a little bit of time to get from being up there to then driving down and around and then getting down to what I would consider, the main streets, the streets that you see in the PCA. Going to move on to the next video here. Okay, I will tell you this. While I was there, numerous people tried to call me, and it was going straight to voicemail to the point that my hairdresser thought that I blocked her. And she's like, "Are you alive? Like, where are you?" And she's like, "I've been calling you, and it's going straight to voicemail." I never had my phone off. My phone was on the whole time. And I said, "Are you serious?" So I asked her if she would pull her phone records so that I could have them, so I could see the times that she was doing this, and I can then know where I was in my trip, so that I could see where I wasn't having service because my phone was on. I wasn't trying to shut my phone off. I was just letting it be. I think my phone, actually, I take that back. I think my phone died one time. So let's do next video here. Again, this is pretty much to show how you have to get up to that area of where he was. Back this up. there's tons of there's tons of apartments within this complex, but you guys can see that these parking spots, you know, it's just a normal apartment building, but you continue to keep looping to get up. So this is not all flat. Literally, you're climbing, and there's just so many of them. So for someone to not know Brian Kohlberger or never see him, or there's just so many apartment complexes in this one complex. There's so many different buildings. And then I even took it back further to say, like, when we kind of like went in. Let's see. Like, we're not even there yet, because I was trying to compare it to the PCA when they're talking about timing. So let's go ahead and I was looking for cameras. I was looking at the different cars. But yeah, there it is. All right, now let's go look at this one. Hold on. All right. Nobody was living in the house in this apartment. Half of the downstairs apartment is like, as you guys can see, is like under. It's like of his building is under. It's like his window. It's not level for the person on the first level. Basketball hoop. Right here, everybody has a balcony. He had a balcony right there, floor 2. Remember, everybody used, they didn't have they just used the Wi-Fi that was there. They didn't have routers. So they used you could see a satellite there. Remember, they used the university's, what this complex offered for their like router. Everybody was on the same one. All right, now check this out. So remember, we're taking a vehicle from right here. It's seen. Allegedly, the phone gets shut off. Now, I'm telling you, I was there. I did not shut my phone off, but it was not catching when people were calling.
Verizon caught it though. I was having service.
I have actually, I'm not going to tell anybody what company I go through. But I've asked my hairdresser to pull those, so we'll see what happens. But let me go ahead and show you guys the next video. All right. This was just there you go, the screen. Like, I wanted everybody to see just how many different buildings there were. University housing. 1630, baby. 1630. Then, let's see. Okay. Come on over to Moscow with me. I think that's where we're headed here. Share screen. Don't mind me. I'm trying to remember where the heck that was. Don't worry, I get it together here real soon. Okay, John Deere. John Deere. Here we go. I'm like, focus, Lana. Let's get it together. This is Pullman. I'm sorry, no, wait, is this Idaho? Oh yeah, no, that's the 70. Yeah, there you go. That's the 76 station right there. Okay, so this is okay. I take that back. This is when we're entering into into Moscow. So this is us when we're coming into Moscow. On yeah, that was Palouse River. Yeah, this is coming in, and then the 76, which is the A&E gas station, is on the left. Then I think we pulled into, because I wanted to get one of the yeah, there it is. That's what I wanted. $3.57 for gas. You know me, I had to go and ask, yo, did you guys turn in some footage? Sunset Mart. You guys know Sunset Mart, right? Come on now. Who is stealing signs at Sunset Mart? That's the intro right there. This is where they stole the freaking construction opening, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's like, this is, there it is right there. Sunset, here it comes. Oh, over there at the Sunset Mart? Yeah, over there at the Sunset Mart. This is where he walked from the sidewalk and he just took it. He just took it. So I wanted to get a little clip of that. I'm sure we needed gas too. I can't remember. Over there at the Sunset Mart? Yeah, over there at the Sunset Mart. So $3 and some change there for some gas. Now let's see what else I did that I feel was appropriate to share at this time. Okay. Let's see. Oh boy. What do we got here? Got some deer for you. Oh, wait, is that it? I don't know if that's it. Hang tight here. Oh, I can't be up. Oh, maybe that was it. Oh, wait, here it is. Well, let's see. Oh, it's going to make it turn around. It's very, you're just on top of each other. Everything is, anybody that thinks that this is spread out is Let's not spread out. This is right on top of each other. I went over to that's Lane. I went over to Ridge because I wanted to see those houses with the cameras. And again, guys, if these are all ring type cameras, we truly have to look at where the street is to where the driveway then leads to the front door. And there's my deer. I took a picture of those deer so I could see if I could compare those deer to be looking like humans. All right, so my notes here are as follows. 100% over there on over by the police station. The only way, if you don't go on the main road, is to literally you have to go up and around, which takes you onto where Brian Koberger's vehicle is plopped down. I think that's suspicious. I think that it's very interesting that of all the places to find Brian Koberger's car just miraculously appear, that would be where it's at. And he was able to evade all of these street cameras without having your phone on. So did he go like old school mapping it and have like an actual like map out? The Groves is right behind, obviously, the police department. Went by there. All of that's new back over there. The Groves is right by where Brian Koberger's vehicle was plopped down again. If we look at a map. Some stuff I'm not going to share. There is a dog that is literally right next to the King Road house. I showed you guys that on that live. When you walk past it, I couldn't see the dog in the window or anything like that. The dog barked. So on the night of them talking about a dog barking, that's interesting because there's a dog that was right there in that apartment, and it barked right when I walked past it. So can we compare some barking? Let's go back to the timeline. How do you, again, you're on the jury. How do you say to yourself, okay, what do you need to be, as you guys sit there right now, what would you ask yourself and what would you want to know? How is the FBI or anybody for that matter that's an expert for the prosecution going to be able to sell you on the fact that that vehicle that you see on WSU's campus is in fact the same vehicle that is on and in the 700 block? How do you get sold on that? Jeez. Not possible, says Tasha. Oh, and you guys wanted me to go get like, what's his name's autograph for the book. We're going to talk about that next. Based on this. I'm not sold on that, but it is difficult to prove it wasn't. But they don't have to prove that it wasn't. They have to prove that it was. That's the thing is, I don't, as a defense attorney, you have to prove your case as the prosecutor. So how are you going to prove that the car from over there is the car that they then see here? Especially if they testify and say that it's not seen anywhere else. And then it just plops there. wild. Hold on 1 second. I want to switch out over. Not that. Bless America. America. Okay, share screen. All right, there you guys go. Let me share it a different way too. Fuck it. TMZ spotting. You guys know who that is? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller. Bueller. You know who's sitting back there at that table right there? Right there. Zoop, zoop. You guys know who that is? I'll pull it up so it's a clear image. There we go. Now, have you guys ever seen Orange is the New Black? Okay. So I told Green that I thought he looked like the guy from Orange is the New Black, who's the prison guy, the guy that was running the prison from Orange is the New Black. So there he is. So he's enjoying a great meal. I happen to be, doing my nails at the bar. Looked over and I said, "Holy shit, are you the guy from Orange is the New Black? Can I get your autograph? Is that you? You guys know who I'm talking about." Tell me that's not the best way, is like just an icebreaker. So I said, "Holy shit, can I meet Piper and Alex? Come on." Do you guys text them? Can you just text them, take a selfie, send it, and be like, "Hey, you got some fans, but can I get you to sign something for me?" Because I know you are. Don't you lie to me. I know you are the Orange is the New Black warden. And then he said, "I get that all the time." No, I'm just kidding. Just letting my charm. But anyways, this is Coomer Scott Green, president of the University of Idaho, right there for you. He just released a book. I want to read a couple things from it. Let's see here. Chapter 43. Chapter 43. When evil visits your campus. Scott's note. I debated with myself and others in my administration how to deal with the horrendous crisis that hit the University of Moscow, the surrounding area, and the Vandal family on November 13th, 2022. It certainly was something no one saw coming. After many careful and thoughtful discussions, I knew it fell to me to share the university's response to one of the darkest events in the institution's history. I also knew including a chapter in this book would be difficult. The situation was recent and still felt raw. It will for a long time, but this book is about telling the U of I's story and how to deal with situations, good, bad, or otherwise. Temple and I included this chapter to speak to the greater good of helping others manage through a similar situation, with the hope no one ever has to refer to this part of U of I's story. We've outlined many critical lessons the institution learned when responding to the needs of students, staff, and faculty in the aftermath while remaining empathetic to the families of Xana, Ethan, Maddie, and Kaylee. We dedicated this chapter to them. There is not a day that goes by that I don't think about all four of those. Think about those four. Here we go. Oh, incredible vandals, by the way. Sunday, November 13th, 2022 started off like any other Sunday. A day of rest for Scott after those shots he was taking back. Weather-wise, it was a strange weekend with the temperatures fluctuating widely on the Palouse for that time of year. Scott had settled in at University House with a game of football on TV and thoughts of the upcoming fall recess and Thanksgiving only a week away. Now I'm just curious what game he was watching because that kind of gives me more of a ballpark. So do you think he was watching, what game was on at, let's see, 11 or 12? You're watching like the 1 o'clock. But as he watched the competition unfold on the screen before him, something just felt off. Not with the game, but in general. He wasn't sure what it was, but something was nagging at him. Lee Espy's day started as a relaxing Sunday at home across town. Lee was the division operations officer for finance and administration at the University of Idaho. He says in quotes, "I woke up, spent time doing chores around the house, went on a run, and after cleaning up, had settled in to watch a basketball game." That was pretty early on. Shortly after noon, after the noon hour, so it says shortly after noon, Lee's phone rang. In quotes, "I received a call from Jake Nichols, University of Idaho Executive Director of Public Safety and Security." The only words that came out of his mouth were, "Have you heard what's going on?" When I told him I hadn't, he informed me that there had been an incident on King Road, a quadruple homicide. Likely students. Jake informed me that he was out of town but heading this way. So now we have another person that was out of town. This Lee guy suggested that, and I suggested that I go and start setting up a command center at the University of Idaho Administration Building until he and others would arrive. Lee knew it fell to him to inform and gather the Vandal tribe immediately. He called Scott, meaning, president right here. No answer. He quickly sent a text, which prompted Scott to instantly call a phone call all presidents fear. That fateful Sunday, just before 1 p.m., Scott learned of the tragic and brutal murders of 4 people in Moscow at a home on King Road near the University of Idaho campus. The call was short, Lee said. I let him know the plan to set up the command post, and he agreed to head to the administration building. Student Affairs and Dean of Students Blaine Eccles was preparing to go to Costco with his wife just before noon. He received an alert on his phone about an unconscious individual at a residence on King Road. Now, that's interesting that right before noon, how did he receive an alert on his phone about an unconscious individual at a residence on King Road? So I'm curious what alert Mr. Blaine Eccles received just before noon, because that would be, if you guys really want to get down to it, the 911 call allegedly took place at 11:58 a.m. Okay. So what alert? I mean, unless he's being alerted to 911 calls, unless Jody Walker alerted him because she was riding in the ambulance. I don't know. But very interesting that he was alerted right before noon. I don't know how he was. It doesn't say how he was. But my protocol for stuff like that is that I don't do anything proactive because police or security is responding. Okay, so he gets a notification that there's an unconscious person just before noon. They know to call me when and if it's an emergency. Who knows to call you? The police? That call came when Blaine was in the parking lot at Costco. So then we got to figure out how far Costco is from his home, right? To see what time that actually came in. So I know that Miss Potts will be all over that one. She's probably already done it. Captain Tyson Barrett from the Moscow Police Department informed Blaine that 4 individuals were dead. They were found dead and believed to be college-aged, most likely murdered. Most likely? What the fuck do you think that would be? But most likely murdered. Jeez. I just couldn't wrap my head around what was going on, Blaine recalled. He immediately contacted Tori Lawrence and Scott while his phone buzzed and chimed with dozens of notifications. His wife drove them back to Moscow, so Costco wasn't in Moscow. Say that a couple times fast. His wife drove them back to Moscow as he handled the onslaught of calls and texts. Once back in Moscow, he headed to Incident Command on campus. The news that the victims were most likely killed only hours before and found dead in a... What? This is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. What did you just say? The news that the victims were most likely killed only hours before and found dead in a house just off campus in an area where students frequently rented apartments would go viral in a matter of minutes, blowing up social media. The news and speculation soured fear into the community, as it should. Like, I mean, there's 4 people stabbed to death. I think that it's okay to be fearful. And despite the emotional toll, thrust the university into high gear to be at the top of its game and stay there. Lee contacted the University of Idaho's safety and security team and Jody motherfucking Walker. She is co-chief marketing officer. That's her name now? That's her co-chief marketing officer. Interesting. Okay. In quotes, I also called and texted the leadership team asking them to meet at the administration building. Some had heard of the incident, others had not, all mobilized immediately. The command center comprised the right people with the right expertise. How in the world can you say that you would have expertise in something that you've never handled before? I don't think that I could say that, you know, I just, wow. So, okay. The command center comprised the right people with the right expertise and decision-making authority. The decision-making authority I get. That's who's there and who can call the shots. Okay. All focused on how to manage communications. To the extent possible, mitigate further risks stemming from the incident and coordinate with law enforcement partners. Thankfully, they weren't starting at ground zero. The U of I's emergency response framework outlines the initial steps the executive policy group, EPG, must take regarding a threat of this nature. So we're going to look all into the EPG. The EPG consisted of Scott, Tori, Blaine, Lee to oversee security, Jody to oversee public relations, acting general counsel Kent Nelson. Interesting, Kent Nelson. And Vice President of Finance and Administration, Brian Fozzi. Why the fuck with the Vice President of Finance and Administration? They, along with Jake Nichols and other public safety and security team members, immediately gathered in the president's office at the administration building to invoke the university's crisis management policies. First, the group quickly crafted and sent a vandal alert to the campus. What time did the first vandal alert go out? It's interesting. Woo. Again, first the group quickly crafted. So number one, they quickly crafted and sent out a vandal alert to the campus informing that MPD was conducting a homicide investigation and instructing employees and students to stay away from the King Road area and shelter in place. In quotes, at this point, we had no idea if there was an ongoing threat or if this was an isolated incident at this point when they made that alert, okay? Lee shared. In quotes, I remember pivoting between the Office of Public Safety and Security team and the EPG team sharing information. So Lee's running back and forth, or I mean, you would think just using your phone or device, you know. Once President Green and Lawrence made it to the command center. So what it sounds like there is that the vandal alert went out before the president arrived, which I thought the president was on his way right when he was told about this, before the guy was coming back from Costco. So where the fuck was the president? Where was the president? Because the way that this goes chronologically is that that President Green was not there at the command center when they put out the vandal alert. What? All right. Again, so once President Green and Lawrence made it to the command center, President Green asked me what we knew. I remember the hair standing up on the back of my neck, looking into his eyes and telling him that 4 people were dead, presumably students. He let out a sound of disbelief, pain, and sorrow, but he was called and told that on the phone. And sorrow all at the same time, and rubbed his eyes, and then immediately began to look weary with the painful thought that 4 young lives had been cut short. Mark B, thank you so much, 307. Wow. And the first call was right before 12 noon. So what were they doing for 3 hours? Holy shit. Oh my God. 3 hours. 3 hours. What were they doing between right before noon and when they sent out at 3:07? Even though there was not much information, the mood was somber. So that means President Green did not show up until after 3:07 p.m., according to the way that this is written, in my opinion. Even though there was not much information, the mood was somber, as we knew the victims were likely students, Scott recalled. The team's immediate concern was for the safety of the students and employees sheltering in place. No one knew if there was still an active threat. At a minimum, the team knew there were U of I employees and students sheltering on campus at the university library, the Pittman Center, the College of Law. I'm certain everyone was scared and wanted to go home. What? I thought they were supposed to shelter in place. What do you... MPD Captain Barrett reached out to Blaine to help coordinate getting the friends at the King Road residence away from the crime scene. Blaine immediately contacted Carrie Feely, Associate Dean of Students, along with U of I counselor and a U of I case manager, to go to MPD and offer support, comfort. Holy shit. If I'm Ann Taylor, I am right here. I'm subpoenaing Carrie Feely. She would have talked to them. And a U of I case manager to go to MPD and offer support, comfort, and resources to those individuals ushered away from the scene. How many people were at the scene? Blaine also contacted Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life, Nick O'Neill. To be prepared when MPD releases the names of the victims. We had a strong suspicion Greek students were involved because of reports we'd heard, Blaine explained. Interesting. Did you not? So you didn't let any of the athlete and their coaches know. You didn't think that it was important to contact the athletic director because they could have been athletes, right? But they already knew that they weren't and that they were Greek students. Interesting. All right. So again, we had a strong suspicion Greek students were involved because of reports we'd heard. What reports were those? But our protocol is whenever a student dies, we help track down contact information and give that to the police. We don't reach out directly to families initially. We give the police as much information as we can in a legal sense so they can do their jobs of notifying the families. So did maybe Green was the one that identified the details were few, but MPD informed campus safety and security later that afternoon that the attack appeared targeted from what they observed. I wonder what it was. They did not believe there was an active threat. Now, if it is Brian Kohlberger, how can you say that Brian Kohlberger is not an active threat? If you guys believe that he's going to go on to be this, he's starting in the footsteps of being a serial killer. So did they get that wrong? I don't know. Again, details were few, but MPD informed campus safety and security later that afternoon that the attack appeared targeted from what they had observed. They did not believe that there was an active threat, but the community should remain vigilant. The EPG and safety and security teams sent another vandal alert. Holy shit. So that was before the vandal alert, the second one. Investigation continues. Suspect unknown. MPD does not believe there is an active threat. Shelter in place lifted. Well, I mean, these people were killed in their homes, so I don't think anybody's safe at their homes, right? But what they're giving us, right, guys, here is I kill timelines. So thank you so much for writing chapter, 40, whatever it is. But I'm just blown away here that, so they didn't believe, guys, that there was, they determined, holy fucking shit. When was this alert? What time? This was before ISP. This is before ISP began to do their, ISP didn't get in there and start doing their shit until 4 p.m. or after. Same thing with Blaker and Payne. They didn't arrive until 4 p.m. ISP did not go through with their forensics because when they had arrived, they were just getting their shit together. What time was the second one? 3:46 p.m. Oh, daddy. So before 3:46 p.m., somebody is saying already without for the ISP forensics team. This is you guys are actually seeing my brain work in real time while reading something because I saved it for this occasion. So if you guys think that I've read this yet, I have not. Wow. I'm gonna need a twisted tea, I guess. Today's episode is sponsored by Hard Iced Tea. When in doubt, don't twist your pubes. Grab a twisted tea. All right. The alert said, investigation continues, suspect unknown. MPD does not believe there's an active threat. Shelter in place lifted, remain vigilant. If you have any information about the incident, please call Moscow Police Department. It had that end of it on there. If you have any information about the incident, but they don't say. Okay, this effectively gave those sheltering the green light to exit those buildings and travel home. I think that they did that for they didn't want anybody getting harmed on campus. Get them off, get them in their houses. Interesting. This effectively gave those sheltering the green light to exit those buildings and travel home, to where people just got murdered in their own home. But throughout the afternoon, the EPG and safety and security teams coordinated an increased safety plan for campus. In quotes, with the security team's advice, they decided to double our security numbers and patrols on campus and reached out to third-party security partners to provide more visibility, vehicles, and additional bodies, Lee outlined. Our internal team worked additional shifts, and we hired more guards. Our team set aside discussions of budgets and financial implications, empowering the security team to move and build the right structure to keep our students safe and faculty safe. So if this was a targeted, isolated, we just have to take those measures. Even with the arrest. Okay, hold on. The teams collaborated with MPD. Even with the arrest, Scott knew that there would be reverberations, interesting word, would impact the U of I into the future, including the care of its employees and the impact on student retention and recruiting. It was clear to me that the case would continue to be front and center in the media through trial, Scott said. Despite the fact that the crime was committed off campus by an individual from another state, we would have to counter the view that the university is unsafe. No, Scott, you know what I think? I think actually the body cam footage that I provided leading up to that event doesn't prove that the university is not safe. It shows that the people in leadership roles are inept, in my opinion. And that period. Despite the fact that the crime was committed off campus by an individual from another state, which all was part of the, it isn't us, it isn't us. We would have to counter the view that the university is unsafe. For years, we were considered one of the safest campuses in the nation. That's a fucking lie. That's a lie. You know why? Because Coomer Scott Green, how did you win this whole, I'm going to become president? Your push was that you wanted to make U of I safe again. You had a problem that it wasn't safe. And I can prove that because people were getting sexually assaulted. Okay. And it was being pushed under the rug due to them either being an athlete or being in the Greek life. For years, we were considered one of the safest campuses in the nation. No, actually, what you were considered in Hustler magazine, I believe it was, Hustler or Playboy, U of I has always been considered one of the biggest party schools in the United States of America. It was go check your Playboys, go check your Hustlers. I think it was in the Playboy. I think it was Playboys though that did that. Biggest partyest university, and Moscow was always in the top. 4 years. But in the meantime, 4 years we were considered one of the safest campuses in the nation, and we will be again. That's not what you said to get the job. But in the meantime, we prepared to respond to the inevitable questions about security and safety in our community. No, what you prepared for wasn't anything like that. You needed it to make it so that it wasn't that anything to do with your university had anything to do with this. That's what this was about. This was about making sure that this could not have been committed by people on campus against other people on campus. The entire university would face having students directly affected by the tragedy return to campus. Any one student or even a U of I employee would be among those who went to the house that morning, were siblings or were in a class with the victims. The entire campus had to consider that healing takes time, and no one grieves in quite the same way. In addition to those concerns, the president, faculty, and staff had to address the more pragmatic elements of getting back to educating students and advancing the U of I's reputation for safety and caring. When you worry about your reputation, that's when it becomes problematic. When you just let that be, and it will be. You put all the stuff around it, and then it just is, because you are who you are. If you want a good reputation, then you recruit and you bring in people that mold that. Leadership. One metric that would determine how well the university handled the crisis would be spring enrollments. So based on our numbers, okay? Based on our numbers, it's going to tell us, we're going to decide and we're going to base how we handle this based on our enrollment. So let's see what our numbers are. Like that's how we're going to judge ourselves to see if we handled this correct, like good. So one metric that would determine how well the university handled the crisis would be spring enrollments. Are you out of your fucking mind? On January 27, 2023, the university reported that spring enrollment at the University of Idaho was up. Oh, thank God, yes. Again, on January 27, 2023, the university reported that spring enrollment at the University of Idaho was up. Undergraduate enrollment increased by 3.5% to 6,500, just over 6,505 students over spring 2022. Graduate student enrollment declined slightly to 1,929 from spring's 1,938. But overall, enrollment was up 2.1%. This excluded dual credit high school students and supported the notion that the largest freshman class in the U of I's history had returned to continue their studies with their Vandal family. Yeah, because they realized, holy fucking shit, we're untouchable here. Why would we ever leave this place? Furthermore, fall acceptance also saw an increase. The early verdict was that the University of Idaho cared about its students, and they, in turn, wanted to complete their education at the U of I. Well, from what I was told, WSU is way more expensive, so they kind of had no choice. Time will tell if the tragedy affects long-term enrollment at the U of I. The entire Vandal family will work hard to promote a safe environment. Actually, time will tell if the tragedy affects long-term enrollment. I disagree. It's not that the tragedy is going to have anything to do with the long-term enrollment. It's going to depend on what comes of the tragedy. The tragedies happened, but going forward, if more tragedies happen, which is AKA it gets revealed that law enforcement isn't doing X, Y, and Z, or that they did this, did that, if this in fact is not Brian Kohlberger and it is Greek life or athletics or something to do with the university. So the tragedy has already happened. It's just we as a university, it's got to be Brian Kohlberger. Otherwise, we're fucked. That's what it means. The entire Vandal family will work hard to promote a safe environment on campus, provide information so students and parents can make informed decisions. And these are dealing with 18-year-olds, so I just think it's funny when you're talking about parents. Like, technically, these people are adults, and it just, mommy and daddy really don't make the decisions. I mean, if they're paying for it, maybe they always say, well, I'm paying for it, so I'm deciding shit. And I just feel like in that situation, either give your kids and empower students to reach out and ask for help if they need it. Kohlberger sits in the Latah County Jail, held without bail and awaiting an October 2023 trial. So this was written when they thought that there was going to be a trial in October of 2023. A grand jury indicted him on 4 counts of murder and 1 count of burglary on May 17, 2023. At a pretrial hearing in June of 2023, he stood silent when asked his plea. People forget about that, right? Remember, he stood silent. The judge entered a not guilty plea on Kohlberger's behalf. Again, that was strategic. Prosecutors will seek the death penalty if Kohlberger is convicted. This is a unique situation for an institution of higher education to face, Blaine said. The University of Idaho has faced student deaths before, but this is murder. Multiple murders with a knife. I think University of Idaho has seen murder. I think it's just been covered up in the past. Again, my opinion. The University of Idaho, again, faced student deaths before, but this is murder, he says. Multiple murders with a knife. So a knife is different than a gun. That's the horrific part. Every horror movie out there plays on our darkest fears of what actually happened on King Road. But I'm proud of the way our students responded and maintained their grit and resilience. This generation gets a bad rap for being flakes and not strong, but these are children of COVID. Oh my God. Jesus. Children of COVID. I have no words. Did he really write that? But these are children of COVID. Oh, fuck. Stop, man. Oh my God. They've done the hard things. This is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. You gotta be fucking kidding me right now. This is not what their student experience should be. I agree with that. That's not what their student experience has been. COVID, yeah. However, their life experience shouldn't be about being on 2020 or Dateline or talking about friends they've lost. Well, I would like to speak on this then. If you speak up before and when you see something, if you say something, you have chances to prevent things, So I just think that more people should speak out when they see stuff. And it's not even murder type stuff that could lead to murder. It's about seeing, people picking on people, whatever it is. If you see something, say something, stick up for what is right. Okay. I just can't even believe this right now. Their life experience shouldn't be about being on 2020 or Dateline or Atlanta's YouTube channel. Just kidding. It doesn't say that. We're going to go in the direction that moves us forward, focusing on academics and engaging in social opportunities while still remembering Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison. I do believe that the students should, you don't just stop your life, obviously. Scott's management insight. Unfortunately, homicides on U.S. campuses are not uncommon. If evil visits your campus, not that it's there, but visits, a president must first project empathy. Number 1, be empathetic. A family just lost a child, something none of us can imagine or would wish on anyone. True, 100. Don't assume people will know how you feel. You must communicate the impact it has on you. That selfless act will bring your students, employees, and community closer, knowing that sadness, fear, and anger are normal. And we all must process oh, wait a second. My book skipped. Well, the MPD believed the crime was a targeted attack. Many were uncomfortable with that answer. We explained how we dramatically increased security through a private vendor and state, county, and local police patrols on our campus. There is no such thing as too much security. That visibility, in addition to communication, was key to assuring our community. We housed law enforcement on our campus. They housed law enforcement on our campus and fed them in our dining halls. They became part of the Vandal family. We also injected flexibility in how our students attended classes. Yep, permitting them to go home and Zoom remotely or continue in-person classes for those who wanted to remain on campus and grieve with their friends. By addressing the concerns head-on and providing choices, we did not spend time defending our decisions. We could focus on supporting our students and employees and the intense media scrutiny that followed. The third action item is to over-communicate, particularly in the early days of a crisis. We did this during the pandemic with a weekly update from Scott and Lee, and we also did it in the response to this crime. No, you guys didn't. I mean, I don't know, maybe. I doubt it. Because you were part of when it came out on the 16th, so it happened on the 13th. All you guys did was post something and close school for the next day. But the comms, meaning communication, but the comms don't have to be from the president. They can come from the deans, vice presidents, or anyone relevant to the purpose of the communication. There will always be those who believe you do not communicate enough, so it is helpful to be prepared to remind them of all the communications you have issued. The teams accomplished this by listing a hyperlink of each communication on a purpose-built webpage that the public could access. Fourth, arm your campus leaders with talking points so the university speaks with one voice. Oh my God. Keep the conversation points updated as conditions on the ground change. This empowers your leadership to provide advice and direction aligned with the university communications. Basically, let Jody Walker handle all of this shit. Fifth, hold regular meetings with law enforcement. You know they wanted to put that number 1 and they just couldn't. Oh my God. Immediately after the incident, we set up a morning briefing and an afternoon debriefing that included our university team and law enforcement. They were debriefed. Are you kidding me? I don't know. Holy shit. President Green's going to be taking the stand at this case. This is going to be like a fucking 9-month trial. Do you understand how many different people were privy to information / oh my God. Oh my God. Fifth, hold regular meetings with law enforcement. Immediately after the incident, we set up a morning briefing and an afternoon debriefing that included our university team and law enforcement. This eventually evolved into one daily meeting. Law enforcement will not give you details about the investigation, but can keep you situationally aware at a high level so that you can make decisions. When we realized how complex this case was, which was when, and would not likely get solved in a matter of days, that helped us plan. How did you know that this wouldn't get solved in a matter of days? Fuck, is that interesting? How would you know that? You don't even have like DNA results back. I mean, what the fuck? Wow. When we realized how complex this case was and would not likely get solved in a matter of days, so it had to be within days that you thought this, that helped us plan. These meetings allowed us to troubleshoot challenges, gather input from a diverse group of stakeholders. What? Develop and tailor communications quickly and keep the ball moving on the daily work needed for the campus in crisis. Continue these meetings as needed and don't deviate from their intended purpose. A clear lead and point of contact are essential. Start each discussion with a quick overview of the agenda items and allow other team members to add theirs to the list. Solicit updates regarding law enforcement, security, student support, legal and communications. While it became moot after the arrest, we had prepared how to navigate the start of spring semester classes. We had evaluated security plans for campus, and we're adding remote learning options for those not wanting to return to Moscow. Finally, take care of yourself. A president cannot lead with energy and good judgment if not rested and healthy. God, those are his words to like tell a president what to do. Holy shit. Holy shit. 1156. Incident address 1100 block King Road. Complaint of unconscious person. Officers and EMS responded, so they staged EMS. Coroner and detectives notified, report taken. Wow. Well. Wow. So if anybody thinks that the university had absolutely nothing to do with this investigation, wasn't calling the shots, then you are out of your fucking minds. I cannot believe. Where is Jody Walker? Why would you print this? Why would you print this? You could print it after. Why in the world would you print this? Oh my God. And they're judging how they did based on their enrollment numbers. Because these kids are COVID. These kids are, wait, what was it? COVID kids. Oh my God. I just can't even. This is Tino's What the Fuck Translation Services. What the fuck? Wow. Okay, if you guys are wondering what is on the screen here, that is President Green right there. Right there. He's enjoying a beautifully cooked to perfection steak. Marbleized. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea what the fuck he's eating. Children of COVID. We are children of COVID. You guys, come on. Who's like, yeah, print this? Do you think that's a good idea that we print this? Yeah, why wouldn't it be? I don't know. Brian Kober is going to trial, and you're basically outing all these people who were in command posts. I mean, I'm going to have a heyday with this. So let me just add this to my timeline. What in the world did the president do from noon until 3:46? What did all these people do from noon to 3? And then how did they know a damn thing before any of the detectives / ISP arrived at 4? I mean, like I said, I'm going to have a heyday with this. So, just when I thought I wasn't going to get any more nuts, President Coomer Green gives me a fucking Christmas present. All right. Thank you so much. P. Green in the house. All right, guys, it's going to be a wrap here. Thank you guys for being here. Again, Truth and Transparency. That's go check it. Go get your book. Mail one in. Get it signed. This is all about the university's image. I cannot believe that they put this in writing. I'm kind of speechless. I'm kind of speechless. They have fucking huge PR people, right? Yeah, this is a great. What are the pros to this though? Anybody out there? Anybody like? Why would you do it? K Miller, you get a membership. You get a membership. Everybody gets a membership. Memberships to all the children of COVID. Shit. You guys, this is unbelievable. I can't, like, oh my God, how is this guy a billionaire? How is the guy a billionaire making these type of fucking decisions? Oh my God, but where was Green for 3 hours and 46 minutes? And then they're saying that this just happened a couple hours before finding out at 11:56. A couple hours. I mean, a couple to me is a few. I mean, what the fuck? You guys are saying this happened at 4 a.m. That's more like 8. Wow. They contradict themselves so much when they say that this is a target attack, but this is what horror films are made of. But we're all fine. We're all fine. Whew. Oh my God. You know, I have my list over here, by the way, because I still have to do my episode 3 of all the places that Coomer Scott, because what I was doing, I was looking at any and all of the any place that he worked and when he worked there to see what was making the news or write-ups or reports or anything like that had to do with scandals or things that were just a little interesting. So I have his whole like history and when he was where and all the places that he's been. And nobody seems to be. Anybody look that up where Costco was? I did not look it up. Where the fuck is Costco? Where the fuck is Costco? Let's take a look. I'll be back though. Vandal scandal. Again, justice for all the victims and obviously their families. Idaho4 reporting half out of Moscow, half out of Ohio. Wow. All right, guys, until next time. Jesus. It's November 29th. 4 people that were murdered, and you want to fuck around. You got 8 families that are being affected by this, and they just need nobody from the university.
Shock value. And so what he did was he had taken pictures California.
Oh, you're from I would be outraged if I lived in Moscow right now. I'd be lighting some cars on fire out there. I'd be flipping some cars. I'd get the frats going wild. Let's get some noise complaints going. Sick fucks. Toodly-doo, Ohio. Here from Toodly-doo, Ohio. See you next time. Truth and Transparency appreciates every single one of you. And thank you so much for all of our special subscribers, members, donators, those that buy for others. Ruby, Robin, Tasha, Heather One Dipple, mwah, looking so fabulous. Cobra Pimpin'. And then Renee there. Kay Miller making it rain up in this mother. Sapphire. 11 months. We are just having our baby. We just had our baby. All right, guys. See you soon. Peace out. Over.